Today we're going to learn to make hotspots on a map. Now we've already got a bunch of photos of various lakes and we've created some pages to that, but we're going to add one more photo, one more image, and that's going to be of a map with a variety of the lakes listed. Now we've seen what the lakes menu looks like with a frame set. We have all the lakes on the left, and when I click on one of those lakes on the left, I'll see the lake show up on the right, such as West Caroga Lake. But notice down in the bottom, I've added something called map. The bottom left corner, you see a hyperlink. Now let me explain that. That says it's an href to map index.html, target equals top. So that says when I click on that map, it will eliminate the current frame set and start all over with a map index.html. Now, what I need to add there, last time I had 3 different files, the 2 frames and the frame set. This time I have map index, which is going to be our frame set, and I have northernfulton.html, which is going to be the hotspots map. But I didn't actually create an additional file because I have main.html already created. That's going to be my temporary placeholder until I actually click on the map. You can see what this will look like with a map on top, and down on the bottom it does say click on the link at left. Of course there will be no link on the left. I would change that wording if I really wanted to keep this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to click on one of those maps and it will show up which lake I have. So the main page, there's really not much to see there. I haven't changed it from what I had in the previous assignment. Okay, if I want to get this map into a couple of frames so I can click on the map and see the pages, then I'm going to set up, begin with just my main page here, map index.html, and you'll notice I put body class equals default, although I didn't link to the style sheet CSS, which means it won't work and it'll just give me a nice white background. And I'm going to set up a table. I put a width equals 100%, but quite frankly I really should have put that inside the style that I'm going to be creating in a little while. I've got a little CSS I'm going to be putting in here, and that's really where that belongs. But anyway, I'm going to create a row, table row, and inside the table row I'm only going to have one TD, one table data. So one cell inside of one row. I'm going to take and create myself a second row as well, because I'm going to have 2 rows to this, a top and a bottom in effect. And in that first one, I'm going to put an iframe. Name, I'm going to call it map frame. Could call it anything. Class map menu. We'll see what that is once we create our style sheet. And the source is going to be northernfulton.html. In the second one, I'm going to have a name of mainframe, and that I do need to call it mainframe because of previous work done on the northernfulton.html. Class map main, I called that, and the source menu main.html. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little style sheet for that internal to this page, so it's not a separate external CSS file. And I've named my 2 classes already down below, map menu and map main. Both of them begin with a period to indicate that they're classes. And I'm going to set up a height. In the case of the map menu, I'm going to set up a height of 360 pixels, partly because I've already looked at this and I saw how big the Northern Fulton map is. The second one, height equals height colon 500 pixels. I'm just saying, well, that'll give me enough room for the rest of it down the bottom. Although that's an executive decision I made. Now, the way it looks there is not going to be quite right because it's not wide enough here, so I've really got to make some changes here. So I'm going to go back in, I'm going to put a width equals 100% in each of those. So if the table is 100%, the width will now be that based on the style. Now, in the northernfulton.html, what I need to do is put in an image. That image has a source, / images, lakes, northernfultonmap.jpg, with the alt tag a map of Fulton County, or a map of Fulton. But I'm adding another attribute called useMap. UseMap equals, and then I have in the £, which tells you it's an ID tag, lake map. So that says this image is going to use a map called lake map. Well, the very next thing I have is a map, ID equals lake map. And of course that goes from map to slash map. And inside that map, I'm going to designate certain areas. So area, the first one I'm going to say is an href to a lake called Nine-Cornered Lake. Looks a bit like an amoeba. You'll see that on the map momentarily. So that's the href, but then I have to say target equals mainframe because again, when I click on that in the menu frame, I want the nine-cornered lake.html to appear in the mainframe. But that won't just do that. It will, but what I have to do is I have to specify in that area a shape equal to a rectangle. You notice I just spelled it R-E-C-T, a rectangle. And then I added coordinates, 100, 130, 130, 155. The first two coordinates are the upper left corner, and the second two coordinates are the lower right corner of that hotspot. And you can see that I've got a nice rectangle over Nine-Cornered Lake, and you can see the upper and lower corners. Now, to do others, I could take, for instance, Broomstick Lake. That, again, target equals mainframe, but what I'm going to add to that is not a rectangle, but a shape of a circle. Shape equals circle. And then I'm going to only have three coordinates, 130, 110, 12. And the first two in those coordinates are the point, the center of the circle. The 12 tells me it's going to have a radius of 12. So that just sets that area on the map to be a circle hotspot. I can add more rectangles and circles as appropriate. I could even add polygons, but we'll skip that for right now. And I just want you to see those are the two areas of the lake that happen to be where Broomstick Lake is and where Nine-Cornered Lake is. And when I click on those, they'll open up down below into the appropriate HTML page.